So, there's a very funny glitch, which I have been told multiple times to make a video on. So, I guess I've caved into pressure, and here is the video. So, you go to this part here, you jump into a tree, and apparently things happen. I don't know if you have to jump into a tree while in the water, or you do it here. Okay, so it has to be in the water. Now, interestingly, can I even get out of the water with the bunny hops that this thing provides to me? No. Okay. So the glitch doesn't work if you're not swimming. So you need to be swimming. And then you need to hop into a tree. And oh, they fixed it. There used to be a glitch where if you hopped into a tree, it would fling you up into space. Oh, okay. I managed to do it. Okay, so it did fling me out, but not too far. And okay, I'm falling. Oh, look, there you can see the lobby. The main part of the lobby. Okay. Hey lobby. You can see something underneath the lobby. Probably get to that later. But it does seem like the glitch is still around. It's just that I think what I had to do was make sure that I was swimming underwater and not in the water. Okay, so let's do this again. Right. Swim down. Why is it coming up with that? Okay. Yes. Okay, so it seems like you have to be swimming down. And as you can see, I'm being flung. Or I got flung this far away. But it wasn't... I didn't reach terminal velocity. And you can see that the event lobby is some distance away from the main lobby above it. Now, I wonder what happens if I'm, instead of going down, I go up. I actually do get flung up. Okay, very cool. Not too much though. So, despite what people seem to suggest, this glitch doesn't seem like it flings you that far into the air. Yes, it flings you somewhat high, but I've not managed to get it like into like the null zone of Roblox. Sure, I can get decently high enough, but I've never been able to say reach the point where the floating point of Roblox causes my character to glitch out. There have been glitches in Tower Defense Simulator. In fact, a recent glitch with Tower Defense Simulator which allows you to reach the null zone in Tower Defense Simulator, or something close to it, where your avatar does begin to glitch out. I just don't think that this glitch has enough momentum to enable you to do that. Okay, that seemed decently far, but then you can see that I went past the main lobby. Now, the interesting thing is, would this work in a map, a gameplay map? So let's do, I think, Dev, because Dev is a map which does have water, and the water deep enough that I think would be able to fling me out of the map. So, let's see. In the water, enter the tree. Yes, the water does do it. Except, obviously, it's not as high. But I think I'll fall right through the water because of momentum. Now, why is this a glitch with the Jolly Tree? Well, I think it's something to do with the movement of your torso. Because I'm in a gameplay map, so I actually can free cam. But you'll notice that your torso isn't here. Now, your torso is actually here, it's just that the torso parts for your body are actually transparent. And if you saw my video on the Jolly Tree emote review when I did it when Operation Ice was released, you'll notice that the torso here is slightly deformed. And your entire body is actually deformed, where your head actually becomes detached from your body. And I think it is because of this that it causes you to get flung out of the lobby, because I think the swimming mechanics have something to do with the torso, the arms, and etc. And because it rapidly changes from this body into the body that's seen inside the Jolly Tree while you're swimming, I guess that causes it to glitch out. But not too massively, as you can see here. Again, it doesn't fling me that high up into the air. I think I've done it once where it did manage to fling me out, and I remained outside of the void for about a minute or so. But it doesn't really reach the point where you hit the floating point of Roblox. So, what this glitch required you to get to the null point of Roblox, or the floating point of Roblox, is, back in the day, the ducky charms, I think they were collidable with your character. And for that reason, it allows you to be flung into the air. As you can see here, I got flung. In fact, it was at such a velocity where you can see that the ducky charm landed on my character, and then in like the next frame, I got flung. All of a sudden, I'm above the water. This water surrounds the entire lobby, and you can sort of see that the water is still present, but then, like, in the next frame, all of a sudden, it's gone. Yeah, I was flung way upwards. And in fact, I was flung so far upwards that my character started to glitch out quite a fair bit. As you can see here, it becomes very, very pixely. And at this point, you can barely conceive my character. But luckily, the game loads in before my character glitches out any further. Now, in case you didn't know, games on Roblox, they kind of do have like a stud limit. So around 65,000 studs away from the main center, there's a slight jittering to your player avatar. At 131,000, there's moderate jittering, and the player avatar begins to transform into polygonal shapes. 262,000, severe jittering of the player's avatar, more of the player's avatar turned into basic shapes, slight increase in speed when moving diagonally, slight difficulty when moving in any cardinal direction. At 500,000, extreme jittering, almost all of the player avatar has been transformed into basic shapes, noticeable difficulty in moving in any cardinal direction, etc, etc, etc. The characters become even more glitchier and glitchier, to a point where things start to not load in, the entire screen becomes black, the entire screen becomes white, and basically your character becomes deformed. Now, from my glitch with the Ducky Charm, I think I managed to get 500,000 studs away from spawn, which was 000, and this doesn't seem to be achievable with the Jolly Tree while swimming. Like, yes, you get flung up, and sometimes quite violently. However, I don't think the velocity is there to get you flung up that much. And sometimes you don't get flung up at all because your swimming direction isn't actually correct. So you have to be like either swimming downwards or upwards for the flinging effect to occur. Now, I do wonder, are there any other emotes that are affected by swimming? So I think a famous example would probably be like the frozen glitch. What about Bunny Mech? No, Bunny Mech doesn't. Broomstick doesn't. It just seems like you're riding a broom in the water itself. So this has now become a submarine. Very cool. Campfire just lets you just sink right to the bottom. Okay, now, the legendary frozen, what happens? You just float into the surface. Okay. To be fair, as ice does float in water, I kind of... it's actually kind of accurate. But no, due to this distortion with your avatar when it comes to the Jolly Tree, I think that is the only emote that is actually affected by this glitch. Oh, and if you want to see the thing that I mentioned previously, where you saw something underneath the map, all you just need to do is just glitch through this part of the lobby. This part of the lobby isn't collidable for some reason, and you can see that underneath the map is actually the community artboard, or at least it should be there. There. Oh, yeah, there. There's the community artboard. I don't think there's anything else underneath the map. There used to be a crate opening area, but they removed that. So underneath the map right now, or the lobby, is the community map board. This is because in the game, there used to be a community artboard. In fact, there used to be developer statues. However, the developers, they got rid of it when they simplified the lobby down to this main circle here. Which is a shame. The community artboard did give us things like a golden outlaw, and it gave us some leaks for some reworks that never actually happened, like the Medic rework and the Fallen King / Void Reaver rework. However, those days are numbered. But interestingly, they kept around the community board underneath the map in case they want to re-add it in the future. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. Oh, and if you want to see what the floating point zone actually looks like, probably play this game. So it's at this point where you can see that my character does jitter around a little bit. But then at this point, you can see it jitter around quite a lot. So I'd estimate that the jittering around the character that I saw in Tower Defense Simulator while being flung by the Ducky Charm was about this, which is about 500,000 blocks or studs away from origin. So I'd estimate that I was flung about 500,000 studs. Now, based on the fact that the velocity did allow me to reach 500,000 studs in about 10-15 seconds, I'd estimate that I could probably easily reach 1,000,000 blocks or studs away from the origin, and my character would start glitching out like this. However, I'm not so sure about 2 million, nor 3 million or 8 million as seen here. This is very, very glitchy. Like, if anyone in Tower Defense Simulator has ever experienced 8 million studs or 8 million studs away from the origin, please let me know. And you need a video proof, because unless your physics look like this in Tower Defense Simulator, then I don't believe you at all. But yes, you can actually reach the Null Zone in Tower Defense Simulator, or you could with the Duck Charm. Not so sure about now.